Imagine a player whose dominance transcended the boundaries of talent and athleticism, a man who redefined what it means to play the center position. In the annals of basketball history, few names resonate as powerfully as Hakeem Olajuwon, a transcendent talent whose journey from the bustling streets of Lagos, Nigeria, to the grand stages of the NBA is nothing short of extraordinary. Hakeem Olajuwon is widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, who made a profound impact on the NBA, particularly with his elite footwork, defense, and scoring ability. This is the story of his career, legacy, and contributions to the sport. Chapter 1. Roots in Nigeria. A soccer star's beginnings. Raised in the vibrant heart of Lagos, Nigeria, Hakeem Olajuwon grew up in a large family where dreams were as plentiful as the bustling streets around him. In those early years, Hakeem found his first love on the soccer field, where the beautiful game captured his heart. The thrill of chasing a ball, weaving through defenders, and scoring goals instilled in him a remarkable sense of rhythm and finesse. It was here that he developed extraordinary footwork, balance, and agility, skills that would one day set the stage for his legendary basketball career. But Hakeem was destined for greater heights. At the tender age of 17, he made a life-altering decision to leave his home behind and venture into the unknown. With courage as his compass, he journeyed to the United States, a bold leap toward a new life filled with promise and uncertainty. The bright lights of Houston, Texas, awaited him as he enrolled at the University of Houston, ready to make his mark. Under the watchful eye of Coach Guy Lewis, Hakeem transformed into a formidable force on the basketball court. Coach Lewis recognized the raw talent that lay beneath Hakeem's unrefined exterior. He saw a diamond in the rough, a young man with the potential to shine brightly in the world of college basketball. Under his mentorship, Hakeem's skills flourished. His footwork, once a product of soccer, evolved into a sophisticated dance on the hardwood, where every pivot, spin, and shake became an art form. The gym became Hakeem's sanctuary, a place where he could unleash his determination and hone his craft. Day after day, he immersed himself in grueling practices, perfecting his shooting touch and defensive instincts. The court transformed into a canvas for his creativity, and Hakeem began to paint a masterpiece that would captivate fans and critics alike. His dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed. Hakeem quickly became a cornerstone of the Houston Cougars, leading the team with an unyielding spirit. He was not just a player, he was a relentless competitor, a warrior on the court. With each game, he dazzled spectators with his incredible agility and unmatched skills, leaving defenders in his wake. The whispers of greatness began to follow him, as fans eagerly anticipated his next move. As Hakeem and the Cougars made their mark on college basketball, they caught the attention of the nation. They became known as Phi Slama Jama, a name that echoed through arenas, symbolizing their explosive style of play. Hakeem's rise was meteoric, and the world was beginning to take notice of this young Nigerian who had come to America with a dream. Chapter 2. College Glory. The rise of Phi Slama Jama. From 1981 to 1983, Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler formed a basketball partnership that would become legendary, captivating the hearts of fans and reshaping the landscape of college basketball. They were known as Phi Slama Jama, a moniker that evoked images of high-flying dunks, fast breaks, and an electrifying brand of basketball that showcased their remarkable athleticism and skill. Together, they not only thrilled audiences, but also laid the groundwork for their futures as NBA stars, solidifying their places in basketball history. The story begins in the vibrant atmosphere of the University of Houston, where Olajuwon had already made a name for himself. His presence on the court was undeniable, but it was his partnership with Drexler that elevated the Cougars to new heights. Drexler, known for his incredible speed and agility, complemented Hakeem's post moves and defensive prowess perfectly. Together, they were a dynamic duo, capable of dazzling fans with their chemistry and athletic ability. Their bond extended beyond the court. They were friends who pushed each other to excel, both in practice and in games. Under the guidance of Coach Guy Lewis, the Cougars transformed into a powerhouse. Lewis recognized the unique talents of Olajuwon and Drexler, and he crafted an offensive scheme that played to their strengths. The team's style was fast-paced, characterized by quick transitions and relentless pressure. They would swarm their opponents, creating turnovers and capitalizing on fast break opportunities. This approach kept the scoreboard buzzing and the crowds on their feet, making the Cougars one of the most exciting teams to watch. In their first season together, Olajuwon and Drexler quickly made an impact. The duo led Houston to the NCAA tournament, and their combination of skills was mesmerizing. Hakeem dominated in the paint with his footwork and shot blocking, while Drexler soared through the air, finishing plays with acrobatic dunks. Their ability to score in transition and execute set plays made them a formidable force, and as the Cougars advanced through the tournament, it became clear that they were on a mission. In 1982, Houston reached the Final Four for the first time, marking a significant milestone for the program. The atmosphere in the arenas was electric, with fans eager to witness the magic of Phi Slama Jama. The Cougars faced off against the University of North Carolina, a team loaded with talent. Coached by Dean Smith, the team featured future NBA stars like James Worthy, a versatile forward, was the team's leader and an explosive scorer with excellent court vision. Sam Perkins, who provided a solid inside presence with his rebounding and defensive prowess, while also being a reliable scorer. And their young freshman, Michael Jordan, who quickly showed his potential. This trio, alongside a deep supporting cast, combined to form a well-balanced team that excelled in both offense and defense. Houston entered the tournament with high hopes. Olajuwon dominated the paint, swatting shots and grabbing rebounds with ease, while Drexler flew down the court, electrifying crowds with his high-flying dunks and playmaking ability. However, despite their undeniable talent and relentless effort, Houston fell just short of the ultimate prize. In key moments, small mistakes and missed opportunities cost them crucial wins. Though their dreams of cutting down the nets as champions were dashed, they made a statement. The combination of Olajuwon and Drexler captivated the nation, leaving fans in awe of what the future might hold for these two stars. While the championship eluded them that season, their performance set the stage for future greatness, and the legend of Phi Slama Jama began to take shape. The following season, the Cougars returned with a vengeance. With their high-flying, fast break style and thunderous dunks, Houston dominated their way to the Final Four, where they faced the scrappy North Carolina State team led by coach Jim Valvano. A team who had been seen as underdogs throughout the tournament, but they were riding a wave of momentum with a knack for close-game heroics and a relentless team that refused to back down. The game was a tight contest, but Houston eventually pulled ahead in the second half, seemingly on their way to another championship berth. However, North Carolina State mounted a late rally, and in the final moments of the game, they pulled off an improbable comeback. North Carolina State had one last chance to win. Derek Whittenburg launched a desperate long-range shot that fell short, but Lorenzo Charles grabbed the ball mid-air and dunked it in at the buzzer, sealing one of the most shocking upsets in NCAA history. The 1983 loss was a crushing blow, but it fueled Olajuwon and Drexler's resolve. They emerged from the tournament with a renewed sense of purpose, eager to prove that they were more than just a highlight reel. They returned to the court with fire in their hearts, ready to make their final season together, one for the ages. In the 1984 NCAA tournament, Houston's Phi Slama Jama returned to the Final Four for the third consecutive year, once again led by Hakeem Olajuwon, now fully emerging as the nation's most dominant player. With Clyde Drexler having departed for the NBA, Olajuwon became the focal point of Houston's attack, and his presence in the paint was unmatched. The Cougars stormed through the tournament with their fast-paced, electrifying style and arrived at the Final Four, determined to capture the national title that had narrowly eluded them twice before. In the semifinals, Houston faced a tough Virginia team that had also reached the Final Four despite being underdogs, led by coach Terry Holland. Virginia was without their star center Ralph Sampson, who had graduated the year before, but they remained a formidable opponent, known for their disciplined play and strong defense. Throughout the game, Houston relied heavily on Olajuwon's brilliance. He controlled the paint, scoring effortlessly around the rim, blocking shots, and grabbing rebounds with authority. Virginia, however, played physical defense, and their guards hit key shots to keep the score close. As the game entered the final minutes, it was a battle of wills. Virginia fought valiantly, but Houston's depth and Olajuwon's dominance proved too much. In a gritty contest, Houston eked out a 49-47 victory, punching their ticket to the national championship game. Olajuwon's performance, with 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 blocked shots, once again solidified his reputation as a game-changer. The stage was set for the final dig at the championship. The energy in the arena was electric, with fans on the edge of their seats, hoping to witness the moment the Cougars would finally claim the elusive NCAA title. Awaiting them was Georgetown, led by their own dominant big man, Patrick Ewing, in a highly anticipated showdown of two of the most imposing centers in college basketball history, Ewing versus Olajuwon. From the opening tip, the game was an intense physical battle. Both teams leaned on their star centers, with Ewing and Olajuwon going head-to-head in the paint. Olajuwon played brilliantly, showcasing his elite shot-blocking ability, footwork, and scoring touch. However, Georgetown's defense, orchestrated by their legendary coach John Thompson, was relentless. They constantly pressured Houston's guards, forcing turnovers and preventing the Cougars from establishing any rhythm offensively. Ewing, meanwhile, anchored Georgetown's defense and was a force on both ends of the court. His presence inside made it difficult for Houston to score, and he controlled the glass, grabbing key rebounds. Georgetown's supporting cast, led by Michael Jackson and David Wingate, stepped up as well, hitting clutch shots and making timely defensive plays. As the game progressed, Georgetown began to pull away. Olajuwon did all he could, finishing with 15 points and 9 rebounds, but the lack of consistent support from Houston's perimeter players proved costly. In contrast, Georgetown's depth and balanced attack were too much for the Cougars to overcome. The Hoyas sealed the game with a 84-75 victory, and Ewing was named the tournament's most outstanding player. Houston's quest for redemption in the 1984 national championship once again ended in heartbreak. It was a devastating loss, their third consecutive Final Four appearance ending without a championship. Despite their best efforts, the game slipped through their fingers, leaving them with another bitter taste of defeat. But in those moments of triumph and heartbreak, Hakeem had forged an unbreakable legacy. Together with Clyde, they had redefined college basketball, captivating audiences with their high-flying exploits and relentless spirit. Phi Slama Jama became a symbol of an era, a reminder of the beauty and drama of the game. As they moved on to the NBA, the echoes of their time at Houston would forever linger in the hearts of fans. Olajuwon and Drexler carried their experiences with them, using the lessons learned and the bonds forged during those formative years to elevate their careers in the professional league. Their partnership not only shaped their destinies, but also inspired generations of players who would follow in their footsteps. In the annals of basketball history, the legacy of Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler as Phi Slama Jama endures. They weren't just players, they were pioneers who elevated the game and left an indelible mark on college basketball. Their story is a testament to the power of friendship, determination, and the pursuit of greatness, a story that continues to inspire athletes and fans alike. Chapter 3. NBA Stardom. The Houston Rockets Era. In 1984, the basketball world held its breath as the NBA draft approached. It was a moment steeped in anticipation, as teams sought the next great talent to lead them into a new era of basketball. Amidst a pool of promising players, including Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins and Charles Barkley, one name shone brighter than the rest: Hakeem Olajuwon. The Nigerian-born center had risen through the ranks of college basketball, showcasing a blend of agility, skill, and a work ethic that set him apart. When the moment arrived, the Houston Rockets made a bold choice, selecting Olajuwon as the #1 overall pick, a decision that would shape the future of the franchise and the league itself. From the moment he stepped onto the court in the NBA, Olajuwon made an immediate impact. The Rockets had been searching for a transformative player, and they had found one in Hakeem. With his towering presence and unmatched athleticism, he quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with. Olajuwon's unique combination of size and agility allowed him to dominate in ways that were rarely seen in a player of his stature. He possessed an incredible footwork that set him apart from his peers, allowing him to maneuver around defenders with finesse, while also providing an imposing presence on the defensive end. As Olajuwon began his career, he wasn't alone. Joining him was fellow big man Ralph Sampson, and together they formed the formidable Twin Towers. The duo was an imposing sight, standing a combined 14 feet tall. Their contrasting styles created a dynamic frontcourt that would define the Rockets for years to come. Sampson's finesse and shooting ability complemented Olajuwon's brute strength and defensive prowess, allowing them to control the paint and create mismatches against opposing teams. The partnership of Olajuwon and Sampson bore fruit almost immediately. The Rockets, once a struggling franchise, began to flourish under their leadership. The team's style of play evolved, focusing on a blend of post play and fast breaks that left opponents scrambling to keep up. With Olajuwon anchoring the defense and Sampson providing scoring options, the Rockets became a serious contender in the Western Conference. By 1986, the Rockets had reached the pinnacle of success, making their way to the NBA Finals. The journey was thrilling, marked by breathtaking performances and unforgettable moments. Olajuwon emerged as a star, showcasing his offensive arsenal, which included an array of post moves that left defenders guessing. His signature dream shake, a deceptive series of pivots and fakes, became a defining feature of his game, leaving opponents grasping at air while he scored with ease. However, the NBA Finals presented a daunting challenge for the Houston Rockets. They squared off against the legendary Boston Celtics, a franchise steeped in championship pedigree and armed with a star-studded lineup. Led by the legendary Larry Bird, along with dominant frontcourt players Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, the Celtics were a finely tuned powerhouse, blending skill, experience, and grit. The 1986 Finals quickly became a thrilling battle of basketball giants. Hakeem Olajuwon, Houston's young superstar, faced the monumental task of competing against some of the best big men in the game. His athleticism and agility were on full display as he scored, blocked shots, and rebounded with intensity, making his presence felt on both ends of the court. Olajuwon's individual brilliance kept the Rockets competitive, but the Celtics' collective firepower proved to be a formidable force. Boston's team chemistry and veteran experience were key. Larry Bird was at the peak of his powers, orchestrating the Celtics' offense with pinpoint passing, clutch shooting, and relentless determination. McHale and Parrish used their size and skill to contain Olajuwon, while also contributing heavily to Boston's inside game. The Celtics' ability to execute in key moments and maintain control of the game's tempo frustrated Houston. Despite Olajuwon's best efforts, including some dazzling performances, the Rockets struggled to keep pace with the Celtics' depth and versatility. In Game 6, Boston sealed the series with a 114-97 victory, clinching the championship in front of their home crowd at the Boston Garden. The Celtics' triumph added to their illustrious legacy, while Olajuwon and the Rockets were left to reflect on how close they came to greatness. Though Houston fell short, losing the series 4-2, Olajuwon's performance cemented him as one of the game's rising stars, and the series itself was a showcase of elite talent and strategic brilliance. While the loss in the finals was disappointing, it only fueled Olajuwon's determination to elevate his game further. The defeat taught him valuable lessons about resilience, teamwork, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. As he entered the next phase of his career, Olajuwon was committed to honing his skills and becoming the best player he could be. The experiences of the finals only served to enhance his work ethic, pushing him to train harder and refine his game. As the Rockets continued to build around Olajuwon, the team underwent a series of changes. The chemistry between him and Sampson evolved as they navigated the ups and downs of the NBA. Injuries took a toll on Sampson, and the Rockets had to adapt to new circumstances. Despite these challenges, Olajuwon remained the cornerstone of the franchise. His leadership on and off the court inspired his teammates, fostering a culture of hard work and dedication within the organization. By the end of the 1980s, Olajuwon had cemented his legacy as one of the premier centers in the NBA. His accolades were impressive. Multiple All-Star selections, All-NBA first-team honors, and recognition as one of the league's top defensive players. But beyond the statistics and awards, Olajuwon's impact on the game was profound. He redefined what it meant to be a center, blending traditional post play with an agility and finesse that set a new standard. As the 1990s approached, Olajuwon was poised for even greater success. He had already proven himself to be a dominant force, but there was still a championship ring waiting for him, a goal that eluded him thus far. The heartbreak of the 1986 finals lingered in his mind, fueling his determination to reach the pinnacle of the sport. He was ready to take his game to new heights and lead the Rockets to glory. Chapter 4. Championship Glory. The 1990s Dream Team. The 1990s were not just a decade, they were the pinnacle of Hakeem Olajuwon's illustrious career, a time when he rose to become a true titan of the game. As he stepped onto the court, an electric atmosphere surrounded him, a feeling that something extraordinary was about to unfold. With his signature dream shake in his arsenal, a mesmerizing blend of pivots and spins, Olajuwon turned the basketball court into his personal stage, leaving defenders grasping at thin air, unable to predict his next move. This era showcased Hakeem's dominance in a way that would be talked about for generations. The sheer artistry of his game transcended the usual expectations of a center. He was more than just a big man, he was a dancer in the paint, gliding effortlessly, his footwork a masterclass in movement and skill. The Dream Shake became legendary, a sequence of fluid motions that bewildered defenders and captivated fans. It was an elegant blend of speed and finesse, allowing Olajuwon to create separation from his opponents and finish with a variety of shots that seemed to defy physics. As the 1994 season unfolded, Olajuwon was not just playing, he was rewriting the narrative of basketball excellence. The Houston Rockets were poised for greatness, and Hakeem was at the helm. That year, he achieved something that had never been done before in the NBA. He won the Most Valuable Player, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the NBA Finals MVP, all in the same season. This unprecedented achievement solidified his place in basketball history and showcased his versatility as both an offensive powerhouse and a defensive stalwart. The Rockets faced formidable challenges on their quest for the championship, but with Hakeem Olajuwon leading the charge, they remained undaunted. The regular season highlighted his skill and leadership, but the postseason was truly a spectacle, and Hakeem Olajuwon truly rose to the occasion. After years of hard work and determination, Olajuwon showcased his elite skills on the grandest stage. In the first round, the Houston Rockets faced the Portland Trail Blazers, and Olajuwon was unstoppable. He dominated the paint, displaying his remarkable footwork and a dazzling array of post moves that left defenders in his wake. Olajuwon averaged an impressive 28 points and 10 rebounds per game, leading the Rockets to a decisive 3-1 series victory. As the playoffs progressed, Olajuwon continued to elevate his game, silencing skeptics with every performance. In the Western Conference semifinals against the Phoenix Suns, he faced a formidable challenge. However, he delivered a series of clutch performances, averaging 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks per game. His ability to control the game on both ends helped propel the Rockets to a hard-fought 4-3 series win. In the conference finals, Olajuwon matched up against the Utah Jazz, another tough opponent. He showcased his full arsenal, using his agility and skill to dominate the series. With Olajuwon averaging a staggering 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks per game, the Rockets advanced to the NBA Finals after a 4-3 series victory, setting the stage for a historic showdown. When the NBA Finals arrived, the stage was set for an epic showdown between the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks, a team notorious for their tenacious defense and physical play, led by Patrick Ewing. This series quickly evolved into a gritty, hard-fought battle that tested the resolve and resilience of both squads. The Knicks, known for their relentless approach, threw everything they had at Olajuwon, yet he remained unfazed, weathering this storm with a calm precision that only the greatest players possess. In every critical moment, as the pressure peaked, Olajuwon delivered performances for the ages. He dominated the paint, showcasing not only his scoring ability, but also his defensive mastery. With each game, he secured crucial rebounds, blocked shots, and altered plays, leaving the Knicks scrambling for answers and struggling to find a rhythm. As the series intensified and the stakes rose, Hakeem's poise and clutch performances became his trademark. He made key plays down the stretch, demonstrating an unparalleled ability to seize control when it mattered most. In Game 6, with the championship hanging in the balance, Olajuwon's iconic block on John Starks in the dying seconds of the game not only sealed the victory for Houston, but also forced a decisive Game 7. The energy in the arena was electric as the Rockets fed off their leaders' tenacity and determination. As the game progressed, Olajuwon's leadership became increasingly evident. He rallied his teammates, instilling confidence in them during critical moments. Players like Clyde Drexler and Robert Horry rose to the occasion, feeding off Olajuwon's energy. Every time the Knicks seemed to gain momentum, Olajuwon responded with clutch baskets or key defensive stops that shifted the momentum back to the Rockets. In the closing minutes, the intensity reached its peak. With the championship hanging in the balance, Olajuwon's determination shone through. He grabbed crucial rebounds, thwarted Knicks' scoring opportunities, and hit critical shots that kept the Rockets ahead. His composure under pressure was remarkable, showcasing the heart of a champion. When the final buzzer sounded, the Rockets had secured a hard-fought victory, clinching their first-ever NBA championship with a 90-84 win. Olajuwon's performance throughout the series not only solidified his status as one of the game's all-time greats, but also forever etched the Houston Rockets' name into the annals of basketball history. This victory marked a significant milestone in the franchise's journey and was a testament to Olajuwon's unparalleled skill, resilience, and leadership. The win sparked a legacy that would inspire future generations of players and fans alike. For the city of Houston, the triumph was monumental. It was more than just a championship, it was a moment of redemption, a culmination of years of effort and belief. And at the heart of it all was Hakeem Olajuwon, whose dominant performance throughout the series earned him the finals MVP. His ability to rise in high-stakes moments solidified his status as one of the greatest players of all time. He wasn't just a champion, he was the heartbeat of a team that defied the odds and etched their names in NBA history. As the dust settled from the triumph of 1994, Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets faced a new challenge in 1995. The weight of defending their title was heavy, but the team returned with a chip on their shoulders, determined to prove that their previous success was no fluke. The league was more competitive than ever, and the pressure to repeat was immense. But for Olajuwon, this was an opportunity to solidify his legacy. He thrived on challenges, and the 1995 playoffs would become yet another chapter in his growing legend. The playoffs became a battlefield, and once again, Hakeem showcased why he was among the elite. Round after round, he delivered performances that left opponents stunned. However, it was the Western Conference Finals that would etch itself into basketball lore. Standing in their way were the San Antonio Spurs, led by league MVP David Robinson, a fellow big man and one of the most dominant forces in the NBA. The stage was set for an epic showdown, a battle between two titans that would define the series and, in many ways, the season. In what became a historic duel, Olajuwon put on a masterclass, outplaying Robinson in a manner that left fans and analysts in awe. The matchup was supposed to be evenly balanced, but Olajuwon turned it into a one-sided exhibition of skill, footwork, and basketball IQ. He dismantled Robinson with an array of moves that had the MVP grasping for answers. Whether it was his patented dream shake or his ability to score from any spot on the floor, Olajuwon was unstoppable. But it wasn't just about scoring. Hakeem's defensive presence, his rebounding, and his ability to control the pace of the game made him a force that the Spurs couldn't contain. The series was a defining moment for Olajuwon, not only as a scorer, but as a player who thrived under pressure. Robinson was left visibly frustrated, unable to contain the onslaught from Hakeem, who averaged nearly 35 points per game in the series. It was a statement performance that silenced any doubts about the Rockets' legitimacy as champions and further elevated Olajuwon's status among the game's greats. With the stage set for the NBA Finals once again, Hakeem Olajuwon faced yet another legendary center in Shaquille O'Neal and the rising Orlando Magic. The 1995 Finals was billed as a clash of the Titans. Shaq, the new dominant force in the league, and Olajuwon, the seasoned veteran at the peak of his powers. The anticipation was palpable, as many saw this matchup as a symbolic passing of the torch from one generation of great big men to the next. But Hakeem had other plans. The series quickly became a highlight reel of skill, experience, and determination. Olajuwon's artistry shone through in every game. Time and again, he delivered clutch performances, outsmarting and outmaneuvering the younger O'Neal with his signature footwork and finesse. Shaq, for all his physical gifts, had no answer for Hakeem's dream shake or his ability to seamlessly blend offensive creativity with defensive dominance. The Rockets' defense, anchored by Olajuwon, suffocated the Magic's high-powered offense, and Hakeem's leadership on both ends of the floor was unmistakable. Game after game, the Rockets took control, and Hakeem's presence was the defining factor. His clutch performances dismantled Orlando's defense as he consistently found ways to exploit mismatches and create opportunities for himself and his teammates. Whether it was sinking a mid-range jumper, blocking shots, or grabbing critical rebounds, Olajuwon was always in the right place at the right time. Every move seemed calculated, every shot purposeful, as he methodically picked apart the Magic's defense. By the time the series concluded, the Rockets had swept the Magic in 4 games, clinching their second consecutive NBA title. Hakeem was once again named Finals MVP, marking his second straight Finals MVP award, a rare feat that cemented his place in basketball immortality. The sweep was a stunning display of dominance and a testament to Olajuwon's mastery of the game. While Shaq would go on to have a Hall of Fame career of his own, it was clear in that series that Hakeem was on a different level. In doing so, Olajuwon not only solidified his legacy as one of the greatest players of his era, but also etched his name into the annals of NBA history as one of the most clutch performers the league had ever seen. His ability to rise to the occasion in the biggest moments set him apart from his peers. The back-to-back championships weren't just victories for the Rockets, they were validation of Hakeem's greatness, of his unique skill set, and of his place among the all-time greats. The 1995 Finals, in particular, served as a masterclass in how experience, intelligence, and skill could triumph over raw power and youth. Hakeem had once again proven that he was the heart and soul of a championship team, and his legend only continued to grow. Chapter 5. The Final Chapter. A transition to Toronto and the Hall of Fame legacy. After 17 illustrious seasons with the Houston Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon's journey in the NBA reached a poignant turning point in 2001. The transition to the Toronto Raptors marked the final chapter of a career that had redefined the center position in basketball. As he donned the Raptors jersey, there was a sense of nostalgia and respect, not just from fans, but from teammates and opponents alike. Here was a player who had etched his name into the fabric of basketball history, now preparing to close this significant chapter. The move to Toronto was not just about joining a new team, it was about adapting to a new role. While his time with the Rockets had been marked by explosive dominance, Hakeem arrived in Toronto with the understanding that his playing time and responsibilities would be different. Though age had inevitably slowed him down, the fire within him remained undiminished. Olajuwon's refined post-game and defensive acumen were still formidable assets. Even in the twilight of his career, he showcased a skill that had made him a household name, a skill characterized by the same grace and precision that had captivated audiences for nearly 2 decades. Despite the challenges of aging and the realities of a diminished role, Olajuwon continued to showcase flashes of brilliance. He would pull off the iconic dream shake, leaving defenders grasping for air, and his defensive instincts remained razor-sharp, leading to key stops in crucial moments. Fans who had watched him dominate in the 90s still marveled at his ability to impact the game, even in a more limited capacity. There were moments of nostalgia, glimpses of the greatness that had once electrified arenas across the nation. As the 2001-2002 season progressed, Olajuwon's journey reached its inevitable conclusion. On April 18, 2002, the basketball world celebrated Hakeem's retirement, a moment filled with mixed emotions, joy for his incredible achievements and sadness for the departure of one of the game's true legends. The final whistle had blown, but his legacy was far from over. Hakeem Olajuwon's accolades tell the story of a player who achieved greatness on every stage. 2 NBA championships in 1994 and 1995 stand as testament to his clutch performances and ability to rise to the occasion. Earning NBA Finals MVP honors in both championship runs, he established himself as a player who thrived under pressure. His remarkable season in 1994, when he was named the league's most valuable player, also saw him claim the Defensive Player of the Year award, making him the first player in history to sweep these prestigious accolades in a single season. His influence extended beyond championships. A 12-time NBA All-Star from 1985 to 1997, Olajuwon was consistently recognized as one of the league's elite players. He led the league in blocks 3 times and finished his career with an astonishing total of 3,830 blocks, making him the all-time leader in this critical defensive category. Each swat was not just a statistic, it was a statement, a reminder to opponents that in the paint, Hakeem was still king. In 2008, Hakeem Olajuwon's storied career was immortalized when he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. This honor was not merely a reflection of his on-court achievements, it symbolized the impact he had made on the game and the generations of players who followed in his footsteps. The ceremony was a celebration of his journey, a journey that began in Lagos, Nigeria, and soared to unimaginable heights in the world of basketball. As fans reflected on his career, they remembered the joy he brought to the game, the artistry of his moves, and the sheer determination that defined his play. Hakeem Olajuwon was more than just a player, he was a pioneer who changed the narrative of what a center could be. His legacy lived on in the countless players who adopted elements of his game, drawn to the elegance of his footwork and the tenacity of his defense. Today, Hakeem's influence can be seen in centers like Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, who cite him as a source of inspiration. They strive to emulate his skills, hoping to capture a fraction of the greatness that defined Olajuwon's career. Off the court, he is respected for his humility, faith, and commitment to giving back to the community, further solidifying his status as a role model for aspiring athletes everywhere. As he walks off into the sunset of his career, his legacy remains vibrant, a lasting testament to what it means to be truly great in the world of basketball. Like, subscribe, and share the content. Till our next one. That's it for now.